Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I make several videos a week all about cruelty-free beauty, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I hope you'll please consider subscribing. Now, in today's video, I of course wanted to do another 5 looks 1 palette. I enjoy doing this series. It's a great way to use palettes that maybe I don't use up as quite as much. And today I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette. I think this one released maybe 2 or 3 years ago now during like the fall or the holidays. I mean, it's just a very beautiful nude palette. I think it'd be perfect for every day, and I haven't used it in a while, so I wanted to include it in this series. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start out with the shade Filthy on a blending brush from e.l.f. And I'm going to start putting that in my crease. It has been a while since I have used this palette, and it's such a pretty palette, and I'm sure it's a staple for many people because it's got these really pretty nude shades. So I feel like it would be the perfect palette for my next 5 looks 1 palette series. Get a little more use out of it. Okay, and then I'm going in with the shade Untamed on just an eyeshadow brush from e.l.f. And I'm going to stamp that on the outer and the inner corner of my eye. I'll have to go back in with the shade. I did not pick up too much because this is very pigmented. Just kind of making sure most of that pigment is down. Kind of tapping that in. Then I'm going back in with that original blending brush that I had, and there's nothing on it. I'm just going to go around that dark shade. Just kind of blending away any harsh lines. And then I'm going in with the shade Provocative on my finger. And I'm going to put that in the very center of my lid. The shimmer shades in this palette are absolutely beautiful. I mean, really the whole palette is. The mattes are too, but these shimmer shades are something else. And then I'm going in with the shade Tantric, also on my finger. And I'm going to put that right over that Provocative shade. Kind of right there in the very center. And then yet again taking that blending brush and lightly going around that. Okay, I just went ahead and did my other eye and the rest of my face off camera, and for my lashes I'm wearing the LA Colors 3D Foam Ink Lashes in the style Laura. They come in a packaging kind of like that. I'm going to go back in with the shade Untamed on an angle brush from e.l.f. And then I'm going to lightly stamp that on this outer portion of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the shade Provocative on that same brush, and I'm going to put that on the inner portion of that lower lash line. And then lastly, I'm going in with the shade Tantric using the same brush, and I'm going to put that in this inner corner. Kind of meeting up with that shimmer shade on the lower lash line, and then lightly swooping that up into the beginning portion of my crease. And there are the eyes all done. And there you have the rest of look number 1, and just really quickly I will say what's on the rest of my face. Everything is Rare Beauty. I just did a full face of Rare Beauty minus the eyes. So I'm wearing the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer in the shade 14W. And for my blush, I'm wearing the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blush, and this one is in the shade Grace. And for my lips, I'm wearing one of the Dewy Lip Balms in the shade Sincere, and I have one of her little minis that come in a holiday set. But stay tuned for look number 2. Okay, I'm going to take a fluffy eye blender brush from e.l.f. and go in with the shade Hypnotic. I'm keeping this look very simple today. Just a mascara kind of look. I've already done the rest of my makeup, and I have kept it pretty light. I'm not wearing a lot of makeup, so I want to let the eyes match that. So we're just gonna go in with this fluffy brush and just do a little wash of color. And you can go in with a deeper shade after this or do whatever you want. This is the only matte shade I'm going to be using today. I want to do just a 2 shadow look. Just to show that even though this palette has these really beautiful rich tones, you can still do a very easy, simple eye look with it without going too smoky if you don't wish to. Okay, and then I'm going in with the shade Please Me to put that all over the lid. This is such a pretty shade. It has like pink shimmer in it. Honestly, you could really probably do this shade and have a one and done, but I did want to use a matte shade in the palette today too. And then I'm going back in with that first blending brush. Just go around the edges of that shimmer. Okay, and then I'm just going to curl my lashes and do some mascara. I'm using the Rare Beauty mascara today. Honestly, this is the best mascara out there in my opinion. It just does everything that a mascara should do. Okay, then I'm going back in with the shade Hypnotic, and I'm going to run that on my lower lash line. And there are the eyes all done. Okay, and just really quickly what I have on the rest of my face, I just have my JOA Perfect Complexion Eye Serum Concealer, and this one is in the shade FCO10, which is very fair with cool undertones. This is the lightest shade, I believe. I just have that kind of all over the face, kind of like just spot concealing. For bronzer, I have my Haus Labs Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer in the shade Light Level 1. I love this bronzer. This is one of my very favorites. And for highlighter, I'm wearing this one from Rare Beauty. I believe these are called the Silky Touch highlighter. This one is in the shade Mesmerize. It's the pinky one. For blush, I'm wearing the Believe Beauty Cream Blush in the shade Dollface. And on my lips, all I have is the Lights Lacquer Jelly Bomb Lip Lacquer in the shade Alyssa. That's everything for this look. Just a really quick and easy look for look number 2. So stay tuned for look number 3. Okay, I'm going to go in with the shade Hypnotic on a fluffy eye blender brush from e.l.f. And then I'm just going to take that and start running that in my crease and putting a little bit on the lid as well. I'll be going in with some more matte shades other than this one, but I want to get this lightest shade down first. Then using that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Rough. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm kind of stamp that on this outer portion first, and then kind of sweep what's left into my crease. I always do my eyes first, so if I have any fallout or if I get a little messy in this outer corner here, it's okay because I can easily clean that up. So if you do your eyes first, don't worry about being too precise. You can always clean it up later with some micellar water. And on the same brush again, I'm going in with the shade Spicy, and we'll start packing that again on this outer corner first. Get most of that pigment down. And then blend what's left into the crease as well. This is a very pigmented shade. I only dipped my brush twice, like once on each side of the brush. This is very pigmented. Okay, and then I'm going in with the shade Please Me. I'm going to take that on my finger and then just put that on this inner portion. The shades in this palette are just so stunning. The mattes blend out beautifully. The shimmers are incredibly pigmented. It's a beautiful palette. Back in with that blending shade and blend around that shimmer. And then I'm going in with the shade Flower Power, and I'm going to put that right over the top of that Please Me shade. Then going back in with that blending brush. And there's sparkles everywhere, but that's totally fine. I love a sparkly look. Okay, for mascara, I'm wearing the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. And for my lashes, these are the Ioni 3D Foaming Lashes. This is from their Bridal Suite collection. These are the Something Blue Fluffy Full Cat Eye. And they're in a packaging like that. And all I have in my waterline, this is the Kathleen Lights and Il Makiage Long Wear Eye Pencil, and this one is in the shade Far Out. Okay, I'm just going to take an angled brush and just mix these 3 shades. The same mattes I used on the lid, I'm going to mix the 3 of them. And then just start placing that on that lower lash line. Just mix the same 3 mattes. Then on that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Tantric, and I'm going to put that in this inner corner. Kind of sweeping that up into the beginning portion of my crease. And here are the eyes all done. And here is the rest of the look, and I'll just quickly say what's on the rest of my face. I kind of used this today as a primer, but this is the Say Glowy Super Gel. I just used it all over my face as well. You can see I'm super glowy. This one is in the shade Star Glow. For foundation, I am wearing one of my very favorites, if not my very favorite foundation. This is the Say Glowy Super Skin Foundation, and mine is in the shade 2. I love this foundation. I can't get enough of it. I don't want to put it down. For concealer, I'm wearing the Say Hydra Beam Brightening and Hydrating Under Eye Concealer. And I believe mine is in the shade HB Half. It's the lightest shade. It's hard to read on the bottom of this little tube. For bronzer, I'm wearing the Milani Liquid Contour, and this one is in the shade Honey. For blush, I mixed two different ones. These are from LA Colors. These are the Cream Gel Blush and the shade Adorned and Admirable. I just mixed the two of these together to get this color. And for the lips, I'm wearing the Rare Beauty, both the matte lip liner and the lipstick in the shade Humble. That's what's on my lips today. But that is everything for look number 3. Stay tuned for look number 4. I'm going to take the shade Filthy on a fluffy eye blender brush from e.l.f. and just start working that in my crease and all over the lid as well. Today is just going to be a mascara kind of look. And honestly, you could stop right here with just this one shade. If you wanted an even simpler look, just that one shade all over the lid and in the crease, and you're good to go. But I'm going to add a few more shimmer shades. Okay, next I'm going in with the shade Irresistible. I'm just going to take that shade on my finger. And I'm going to put that all over the lid. Then I'm going back in with that blending brush and just go around the edges of that shimmer. And I'm going in with the shade Passion. And I'm going to put that right over the top of that shade. I think mixing those two makes such a pretty shimmer. So you can see the blue in there too. And then going back in with that blending brush and go around the edges of that. And then I'm just going to go in with mascara, and I'm going to be using the Milani Tubing Mascara today. So I'm going to do all that right quick off camera, as well as my other eye and the rest of my face. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going in with the shade Filthy again on a detail crease brush from e.l.f. I'm just going to run that on my lower lash line. On that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Tantric, and pop that right there in the inner corner. And here are the eyes all done. Okay, all I'm wearing on my face, I just spot concealed with the Say Hydra Beam Concealer, and mine is in the shade HB Half. For my highlighter, I'm just using the Merit Day Glow Highlighting Balm in Kava. And for blush, I'm wearing the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blush, and this one is in the shade Happy. I just have this little mini here that come in a holiday set. And all I have on my lips is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Tinted Lip Balm in the shade Bliss You Berry. But that is everything for look number 4. Stay tuned for the 5th and final look. Okay, I'm going to start out with this shade right here, Arouse, on a detail crease brush from e.l.f. This is a more pigmented shade, so I only dipped into it once. And I'm just going to apply that to the first half of my crease. I don't want much of this shade because it can be pretty pigmented. I'm going to keep it really light. And on that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Juicy. There again, just dipping one time into that shade, and I'm going to put that on this outer portion of my crease. There's a little bit of a difference in undertone in those shades, but they really do look very similar on the eyes. And if you wanted, you could have just taken this brush and mixed the two and just do it like that instead of, because they really do look about like the same shade. Yeah, they end up looking the same, so honestly you can just skip using both of them unless you want to mix them, or just use one or the other because they look the exact same on my eye. Next, I'm going in with the shade Hard on a blending brush from e.l.f. and I'm going to start packing that on this outer portion. Kind of like in that diagonal shape a little bit, just packing it first. Just to get most of that pigment down before I start blending. Start blending that into this outer part of my crease. And just keep blending because this is probably going to take a while to blend, so just keep blending it out. And if you have to, go back in with one of those first two matte shades to help you blend as well. And don't worry if you get a little messy on this outer portion. I am going to take a little bit of micellar water and clean up that outer edge. That's why I love to do my eyes first, so don't mind that. Then I'm going in with the shade Desire on my finger. And I'm going to start putting that on this inner portion of my lid. Then I'm going to go back in with that blending brush and blend around that red shade. Or berry shade, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going in with the shade Provocative on a flat brush from e.l.f. I haven't tried one of these shimmers with a brush yet, so I said I was going to try it out. And then place that right over that red or berry shade. And of course, back to that blending brush to blend around that edge. Okay, the only thing I did for my top lash line was I put on a thick layer of this Ioni. This is the Everlasting 2-in-1 Lash Glue Liner. And then I'm using the LA Colors Dermatalash Extra Mink Effect lashes. And these are in the style Fabulicious. They come in a packaging like that. And I took the shade Spicy on a small angled brush. And I just put that over the excess of the liner and then did like a little teeny little baby wing on each side, just a little teeny wing. So now I'm just going to take a mixture of these 3 matte shades on a detail crease brush from e.l.f. I'm just going to dip in each shade once and then run that on that lower lash line. And then I'm just going in with a little bit of Flower Power and putting that on the inner corner. Okay, and here are the eyes all done. And there we have the 5th and final look. I'll just quickly say what's on the rest of my face. Now, for my foundation, I'm just wearing this JOA Perfect Complexion Eye Serum Concealer all over, and this one is in the shade FC010. That's all I'm wearing. I find that because it's so creamy and just easy to blend out, it makes a perfect base. If you just want like a light coverage foundation, I think it's perfect. For bronzer, I'm wearing the CoverGirl True Blend High Pigment Bronzer, and this one is in the shade Sunset Glitz. For my blush, I'm wearing the Bare Minerals Blonzer, and this one is in the shade Kiss of Rose. If you like that sunburnt look, you'll love this, because that's kind of what this looks like on me. It kind of looks like a sunburn a little bit, and I mean that in the best way possible. For my lip liner, I'm wearing the JOA Lip Candy Auto Lip Liner, and this one is in the shade Blush. And then for my lips, I'm wearing the Milani, I think these are the Color Fetish, I think that's what they're called, the matte lipstick and the shade Secret. Just a combo of the 2 of those. And here you have the 5th and final look using this Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette. And there you have all 5 looks with this palette. I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and thank you so very much for watching. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.